Hello, viewers, and welcome to my review of the April 30th, 2014 edition of USW Wednesday Night Intensity. This, of course, being the first Intensity edition after USW Called Greatness 9, and also the last before USW No Remorse 2014. The two pay-per-views are within 1 week. We start off the show with Zach Hardy coming out and addressing the fans as to what had happened at Call Greatness 9 and guaranteeing that Western Light would get a title shot like promised a few weeks ago the same night. And then Alexander Rotten comes out and challenges him to a USW Championship match at No Remorse this Sunday. And Zach Hardy I guess insulted him by talking about all the other people that are ahead of him in line and telling him to go back to the back of the line. And then he tells them that he will give him a championship match this Sunday at No Remorse. And then that pretty much sealed the deal. And then Western Light came out and attacked Alexander Rotten. Came in Zach Hardy, and Western Light had a showdown or something, or a face-off, and then Zach Hardy started punching Western Light, and then Western Light started punching Zach Hardy back, and then Western Light retreated, and Zach Hardy, I guess, held the title belt over his head. But that happened, and then the first match was a Bulletproof Series qualifying match. CED, ED, Ezra Hills, and Benny Franklin versus Fernandez, Gringo, Amor, and Greyhound. It was an 8-man tag team match, and if you watched tonight, then you would know that Fernandez, Gringo, Amor, and Greyhound won. So they are in the Bulletproof Series, and the Bulletproof Series is a new thing with it's kind of like the Bound for Glory series in TNA, with the winner getting a title shot of whichever title he chooses at Bulletproof. This year will be Bulletproof 7, or VII, so they qualified. And then there was an interview with Lone Wolf, and then another BP series qualifying match. Dwayne Porter defeated Dustin Raymond. And then Alex Martin challenged George Martin to a match this Sunday at USW No Remorse 2014 in a loser leaves USW match. That was a little bit sudden when it came up, because the two have only been fighting for, or arguing, or in a rivalry for maybe a month or two now, or maybe 3, but that kind of came, and I mean, I would expect a loser leaves USW match like sooner or later, because it's just that kind of rivalry where that stipulation would fit in with a rivalry in a match within the rivalry, and that kind of sealed the deal for one of these competitors this Sunday. So neither of them had a match. Neither of them had a match, and then the third match was another BP Series qualifying match. Philip Akron, Prophecy, Rush, and DHIG defeated Seth, Simon Saint, Indigo Child, and Simon J. So then this BP Series rules promo and matchup lineup. That was a little sudden because it had only started tonight. So I guess the matchup lineup for when it starts this Sunday, that wasn't sudden, but the rules it just came out of nowhere, and it just kind of popped up without any expectations, but whatever. The sixth match was another BP Series qualifying match. It was Brandon Stickler versus Lane versus Chris Ross, or Tall Man Chris Ross, and Chris Ross and Lane fought off in a match this past Sunday at Cold Greatness 9, and Brandon Sickler, I'm not sure if they had a match, I'll have to look that up, but now Chris Ross defeated Lane and Brandon Sickler. He actually made Brandon Sickler tap out, and he forced him to tap out, and that kind of left it as to what would happen with Chris Ross and Brandon Sickler, because Brandon Sickler's motto is not give up, and he pretty much gave up by tapping out, and I wonder if that, because there have been multiple occurrences where somebody's gimmick had been changed because of just one little incident, and it changed their entire gimmick, and some never went back to their gimmick, which I hope doesn't happen. But and after that, there was Cold Greatness 9 highlights and results from the matchups last Sunday. Then the fifth match, I kind of counted as Enigma's debut match. I know it was his Intensity debut. His pay-per-view debut was this past Sunday, even though I wouldn't really count it as a debut, because he didn't really wrestle. He just hit a move and won. But yeah, it was the fifth match was for the Blue Belt Championship. Enigma defended the championship against James, and Enigma just kind of took over the match. James got a few punches in, but it didn't matter in the end, because in the end, Enigma tied James's legs to the upper corner, and that kind of left him in a tree of woe. And then Enigma took out an electric fly swatter and started beating down James with it, and started holding it towards his chest and towards his head and to his kneecaps, and just started zapping him down. And then he grabbed a shillelagh, which is something that I think the WWE Finlay and Hornswoggle had at one time. It was that kind of wooden stick that they brought out, but it was like a more built up kind of weapon, and he just started beating down him with it, and then he ended up taking the ladder, and then did some kind of I don't even know how to explain it, but he started kicking his feet while on top of the ladder, and just started jumping down, up and down on the ladder, and then started twirling his leg, and then kind of voluntarily dove off, but not dove off, but went off for a leg drop, swung himself around the ladder and went for a leg drop, and as you can tell, he got himself disqualified. But you can't lose a championship via disqualification or count out, so the winner of the match was Enigma, James, but Enigma kept the Blue Belt Championship, and then went out through the crowd, but sat on a barricade and kind of just wallowed at the violence and destruction he created, and walked out with a Blue Belt title, and just walked out, and apparently his theme song is Liberate by Disturbed, and kind of fits personality well, as very much with the very beginning of the song. Look it up, it's Liberated by Disturbed. But that happened, and then we had an interview with Masjigeta, because his match would come up soon. And then the sixth match of the night was Alex Martin and Corner versus George Martin and Greyhound, and Alex Martin and Corner beat George Martin and Greyhound in the tag team match, and it was somewhat of a kind of a I guess built-up match, and if this were to be a built-up match for for all four competitors, then I would assume that Corner would be facing Greyhound as well at Cold Greatness. No Remorse 2014. I don't know why it just says 2014, but USW No Remorse 2014. I guess because the pay-per-views that have already been used before in USW have to kind of have the year as well, because then people will, I guess, think about like maybe No Remorse 2013. So I just kind of do that for just for a reminder, and I know USW does that all the time, and I know every fan of USW refers to it as so and so and so 2014 or 2013 or 2015 or 2016, 2017, 2018. The list goes on and on, but except for Call to Greatness and Bulletproof, because those are like 9 and 7, and then next year it'll be Call to Greatness 10 and Bulletproof 8. But going off topic here, and then we had an interview with Zach Hardy about the match for tonight, and what really surprised me about this next match was that Lone Wolf kind of went on Moshigata. My capture broke off. My bad. As I was saying, Lone Wolf kind of played on Moshigata's side for some part of the match, and but the outcome, it was Cannon versus Moshigata with Lone Wolf as a special guest referee, thanks to Kyle Reese's decision. Lone Wolf kind of went against Cannon. Cannon seemed a little bit confused, as did Moshigata, and then in the end, what we expected to happen was Lone Wolf took out a steel chair and tried to whack over Moshigata in the head, but ended up knocking Cannon over, and then smacking Moshigata in the face right afterwards, and then putting Cannon's arm over Moshigata and then counting a 3 count. So Cannon beat Moshigata, and then the color commentators kind of overreacted about it and said, "Oh, Cannon defeated USW World Heavyweight Champion Moshigata," and that went on. And then afterwards, it was kind of like a disturbing message, I would say. Now, this is something that I heard a lot of people talking about right after on the chat boards on the website. What I heard about them chatting about was, it was something that sounded like something that Derek Carter would say. So that would possibly mean that Derek Carter has already signed with USW. But I'm not going to get into details in this video, because this video and the video that I would have to put out would not be similar. Then, the main event of the night was for the USW Championship. Zach Hardy defended the title against Western Light, and this match went about 15 minutes over the standard show airing time, because it went, tonight's show, normally the shows go from 9 to 11 p.m. This one went from like 9 to 11:15 p.m. It ended around the same time that WWE Monday Night Raw ends almost every night at like 11:15 every time on Mondays. But they went back and forth. Western Light hit the lantern on Zach Hardy like 12 times, and then at one point Zach Hardy was I guess kicked out of a pin and nailed himself right in the eye. His like kneecap went straight into his eye socket, and then kind of like pushed his face down into the mat, and just kind of looked there and stayed there, kind of like trying to get back into it. And then Western Light, very stupid move, gave him time to recuperate by like thinking of himself, how do I keep him down or whatever. And then like Zach Hardy looked up and his face was all bloody, and apparently it was underneath his left eye socket. And if you're looking straight at him, then his right eye socket. But I guess to him, I think it would be his left eye socket, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, the match went on, and then Zach Hardy hit a cardiac face plant, and then Western Light hit the lantern, and then face plant, then lantern, then face plant, lantern, then the stomach pump, then the lantern, then the lantern, then the lantern, and then the Hardiac face plant, and then another Hardiac face plant, and then Zach Hardy went for a kick in the corner, nailed it, and then Hardiac face plant one more time, straight into the mat, and then pinned Western Light for the win. And then by that time, Zach Hardy's eye had the blood was rushing down his face, and it was kind of disturbing to watch for some people. But quite frankly, I liked it. I like when wrestling organizations and promos and promotions. I like when they are not afraid to have blood and are not afraid to show blood. So that's always a good thing. Not necessarily for the wrestlers, but for the viewers and for the viewers' interest. But anyway, that was my review for the April 30th, 2014 edition of USW Wednesday Night Intensity. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Chase Clover, signing off.